Welcome to the Explore Real Estate Show. I am James Boslaw, your Fredericksburg area realtor and vacation rental investor. And this show is all about real estate in the Fredericksburg area, the Fawn Lake community, and the vacation rental space. I help people buy and sell homes because I believe that everyone should grow their wealth as they live in or own a home that they love. I also believe that everyone should feel confident when buying or selling a home, and confidence comes when you are well educated and informed. And that's what this show is all about. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Explore Real Estate Show, where in today's episode, we're going to talk about the challenges as well as the opportunities in the vacation rental space. So this is going to be a fun one. For those of you who know, I'm super passionate about this topic. It's something that I personally have invested in, as my wife and I have owned two properties for now about 3 years now, which is crazy for me to think about. But I've also helped about a dozen others purchase or sell vacation rental properties. And so this is something that is near and dear to my heart. And I know that it's a topic that is of interest to many of you who are listening to this. I've had several conversations with some of my friends and clients who have asked me more and more about the vacation rental space because they're interested in jumping in. And so if you're watching this episode, most likely it's because you saw the title and you're interested in this topic. And so I'm excited just to share with you what the challenges are, because there are several challenges in the vacation rental space right now, as well as the opportunities that present themselves if this is something that you want to jump into. And so we're going to talk about that as well. So let's just dive right on in. First and foremost, I just want to share that there is a growing interest in the vacation rental space, both on the supply side, those who are looking to purchase some vacation rentals so that they can grow their wealth and use it personally, as well as there's a growing interest of those who are looking to use vacation rentals as they travel. Gone are the days of just looking at hotels when you're looking to book something and travel away. More and more folks are looking at vacation rentals or short-term rentals through different apps, namely Airbnb and VRBO, and now Booking.com as well. But you can just see there's a growing interest both on the supply side, those that want to own homes that do this, as well as there's a growing interest on the demand side. More and more people are diving into this space as they book their homes when they're traveling. And the way the landscape is currently, especially with work, as more and more people are working remotely, and especially as we're seeing a growing interest in homeschooling, what we're seeing is that there are a lot of contributing factors that increase to more and more traveling. And so folks are able to take their computer with them or take their kids with them and book great homes in these awesome locations. And we're just seeing more and more people using vacation rentals as their choice of travel. And so with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some stats from a resource that I rely heavily on and pay for. It's called AirDNA. And what AirDNA does is they take a look at several platforms that utilize vacation rentals, and they take a look at all the trends on those platforms. What's the demand? What's the supply? What are the average daily rates doing? What is the RevPAR, which we'll talk about in a moment. And so I'm going to go over some stats that AirDNA has just published, and it's in regard to the 2023 year. And when we do that, this is what we find out. The revenue per available room, which is referred to as the RevPAR, the revenue per available room, had its first annual decline since 2014. Dropping nearly 5%. So leading up to 2023, we kept seeing the average daily rate of homes and what they would cost to book them. We kept seeing those go up from 2014 all the way through 2022. But in 2023, it is the very first year that we actually saw a decrease in the revenue per available room. So dropping nearly 5%. That is something that is definitely noticeable, and it definitely impacts you if you are the owner of a vacation rental. What you're seeing is, I'm not able to rent these rooms out for as much as I was able to rent them out for the previous years. But as far as the demand in the vacation rental space reached new heights despite revenue declines. Matter of fact, there was a record demand in July with 1.6 million listings in September. And so what we're seeing is, to my earlier point, more and more people are looking to vacation rentals as their first choice when they are looking to travel. So Airbnb, VRBO, they're seeing more bookings than they ever have because demand has grown over this past year. Now, the occupancy and pricing, when you look at it, there is a high supply of homes that are now available on these platforms. And because you have more options and more people who are listing their homes on Airbnb and VRBO and others, it has stretched consumers out over all the different options, which really allows the consumer to win, because that's also reduced the occupancy for those who have rentals, vacation rentals, but it's also reduced the average daily rate because there's more supply. The supply is growing and the demand is growing, but the supply is growing even more. And so because of that, what we're seeing is that the average daily rates have gone down, buyers have more options, and really the renter, I say the buyer, but the person renting the vacation rental is actually the winner in that, because the rates have gone down as things have become more competitive. Now, as you look towards 2024, here are some of the projections as we go into the new year. The demand is expected to continue to grow and increase by about 11%, but it's supported by economic growth and domestic travel recovery. So we are projected to see more travel, more people booking vacation rentals in 2024 than we did in 2023. Now, with that, supply will continue to grow, but it will grow at a lower pace because of higher interest rates. So more and more people are going to be listing their homes on these different platforms. So the supply will increase. However, as the demand increases and the supply increases at a slower level, they are expecting those two things to kind of equal each other out. So the occupancy is likely to stabilize, which would be similar to 2023 with maybe just a little bit more expected growth. But yet again, there is more supply. So we're looking to see similar occupancy levels across the board. Now, the average daily rate for 2024 is expected to have a modest increase of 2%. Once again, these are projections, but AirDNA is looking at a lot of different data over these platforms. And as they do so, what they are seeing is the potential for the average daily rate, what an owner would rent these vacation rentals out for, is expected to start going back up yet again, which is exciting for those of you that own a vacation rental. The RevPAR is also predicted to rise about 2% as well. Now, the economic context to this is that inflation is dropping finally. We do currently have strong employment, and wage growth is growing faster than inflation. So things are stabilizing. The housing market is stabilizing as we're seeing the interest rates come back down again, and buyers are able to jump back into the market. Everything is starting to look more calm, more normal. Everything is just kind of stabilizing. So the dynamics, if you look at 2023, it was maybe not the greatest year for vacation rental owners. It definitely had its challenges. You know, we have lower occupancy because of increased supply. The average daily rate was down just a little bit. However, 2024 is poised for stronger demand, and the supply is set to grow at a slower pace, which leads to a higher average daily rate and very similar occupancy levels. So, you know, these are stats that I am reading from professionals, but here are some of my personal observations from our two vacation rentals, as well as talking to my clients. What we have basically all agreed that we're seeing across the board is that there is just slightly less occupancy in 2023 than there was in 2022. It wasn't crazy, it wasn't dramatic, but it was noticeable. There was slightly less bookings this year than there was in previous years. We also all noticed that the lower rates per day, the average daily rate, were lower this year than last year. And that's always frustrating when you own a vacation rental, because you just want to see more and more occupancy. You want to see those rates come up. However, this year there was nothing dramatic, but there was a decrease in both occupancy and daily rates. And that is noticeable over the course of the entire year. It could be the difference between you being positive, between you breaking even, or in some cases, maybe even losing a little bit of money. However, that was experienced across the board with all of my clients, is that no one was raising their banner and saying, this is our best year ever. However, no one was, losing too much sleep over the slight change in the vacation rentals that they were renting out. We did notice this past year, that there was way less interest to buy vacation rentals due to the higher interest rates. So in previous years, I had tons of clients jumping in the game, buying homes in 2021 when COVID brought the interest rates down nice and low. In 2022, even, we saw lots of demand for buyers saying, hey, I'm going to buy a vacation rental and I want to jump into this space. But in 2023, that slowed down dramatically as the interest rates went higher. It made it harder for the property to be profitable. You have to look at the numbers. It has to make sense for you. And so that was something across the board that I noticed, is that there was less demand to buy vacation rentals. But all in all, if I were to summarize what I noticed this year, it's that the market stabilized. We just had everything was much calmer. There was nothing crazy like in 2021 or 2022. Back when COVID first hit, vacation rentals just totally took off and everyone ran to them. And those were some record numbers as far as occupancy levels. But the last year or two, we've just really seen things stabilize and kind of mature, and just the dust settling in the vacation rental space. Now, if I were to close this video out and talk to you about the challenges as well as the opportunities in the vacation rentals, it's this. The challenges are quite simply the interest rates. They have come down quite a bit over this past few months, but we peaked at 8% in the market for your average home purchase. But when you have a secondary home, oftentimes you're looking at a slightly higher interest rate than what the standard interest rate is. So let's just say that you throw an additional 0.5% on top of that 8%. It's harder when people are looking at purchasing vacation rentals, that 8.5% interest rate. It just made it difficult. And thankfully, those interest rates are coming down, and we'll talk about that with the opportunities. But because of that, that is something that you have to consider when you're looking at the vacation rental and crunching your numbers to make sure that you can make it profitable, or at the very least, cover your expenses. Another challenge we had is profitability. It's just, the folks that I talked to that went from making money and having a lot of positive cash flow were disappointed to tell me that maybe they broke even. And hey, it's not the worst thing in the world to break even on your second home. Someone else is paying down your mortgage, and your home is appreciating in value, which is true. Homes did appreciate in value over 2023 as somebody else was paying down their mortgage. So there was equity created, but profitability was a challenge in 2023. More competition is also a challenge. I noticed this a lot with my properties in Wintergreen, is there was just more options for consumers to pick. And what that did was it drove down our rates. But I will say that it does force you to put your best foot forward. And if you can do your vacation rental and do it right and the right way, you will find that you will beat your competition. But there is definitely more competition out there, and that is a challenge that has to be acknowledged before you jumped into the space. I will also say that this year was extremely challenging for my wife and I, mainly for my wife who manages our properties, because there were a lot of issues with our units. There were different maintenance issues. We had some issues with some guests that needed to be solved. And for those of you that think that entering into the vacation rental space is passive income, I just want to be upfront with you and say that it's not passive. Even us, we have property managers, and yet we still find ourselves jumping in and getting involved. Once again, Emily doing this way more than myself, but there were definitely challenges this year on that end. And so that is a challenge that, once again, you need to acknowledge. It's something that you need to know about before you jump into the vacation rental space. It is not 100% hands off. There will be some work required as you respond to the different needs that are required for each property. Now, where do the opportunities lie? This is where I'm excited to talk to you. There are plenty of opportunities in the vacation rental space. First of all, you can acquire a second home in an area that you absolutely love to visit. And there is a good chance that if you do so correctly, that you are going to have your mortgage covered, that your expenses will be taken care of by your guests. And if that's something that interests you, if you want to find a home where it would be great if you have positive cash flow, but even if you had your expenses covered and you're able to own a second home, there are definitely opportunities for you to do that. And I think that those opportunities will be there in 2024. And I would love to help you make that happen, of course. But there's also an opportunity for you to grow your wealth through owning real estate. Once again, in a previous podcast, I asked if you win if you are breaking even on vacation rental. And just a little teaser, even though I still think you should go back and listen to the episode, the answer is yes. If you own a home and you're breaking even, but someone else is covering your mortgage, you're growing your wealth because someone else is paying down your mortgage. What you owe in the home is going down. The home is appreciating in value, and the gap between what you owe and what your home is worth, that's your equity. And so if someone can cover that for you, then this is absolutely a great opportunity for you to grow your wealth through real estate. You also have the opportunity to refinance the home that you purchased this year. Once again, current interest rates are hovering at around 6.5%. So we'll just say about 7% for the vacation rental space. And if you can make your numbers work at these current interest rates, then it's going to work even more for you when you refinance them at lower interest rates in the future when the rates come down. And so if you can make it work now, it's going to be even better for you in the future as you have the opportunity to refinance as the interest rates do fall. You also have an opportunity to make a lot of memories in a home that you own. And that is something that is so special to be able to travel away to a place that you would already go to anyways, but you're not going to somebody else's home, you're going to yours. And for those of you that don't know our story, how Emily and I jumped into the space, it all started when we were visiting the Outer Banks and we were in somebody else's home and renting it, looking at how much money we were paying for that weekend and thinking, my goodness, we're paying somebody else to enjoy a weekend away. Why don't we just, own one of these assets and enjoy it ourselves and have other people pay our mortgage essentially and our expenses so that we can enjoy something that we owned. And the opportunities are there for you to do so, to make amazing memories. Emily and I just got back with our kids, with our boys from Wintergreen. We had a great weekend of fun, but we were doing that in our home. And it's just different when you're doing it in a place that you own. Also, there is a lot less competition if you are looking to enter into this space this year due to the higher interest rates, which are coming down. That's great. But due to higher interest rates, there are fewer people that are jumping into the space. And there are some people that jumped in prematurely and they're not happy with the result of their homes. And because of that, you do have some opportunities to find some second homes or vacation rentals in an area that you love and have less competition if you're going after that specific home. And so there's definitely challenges. There's definitely opportunities. The one thing that is certain is that if you're going to enter into the vacation rental space, you need to do so with someone who's been there and done it. And that is something that I have been able to do. Emily and I have been blessed to be able to do this together for 3 years. And this space is not going anywhere. The vacation rental space, it's legit. You can own some real estate. You could rent it out. You could use it personally, and you can grow your wealth as you do this. So yes, there are challenges. Don't want to sugarcoat those challenges. However, I do want to be very upfront with you about the opportunities that present themselves in this space. I will guarantee you this. It is not passive. And yes, there is a lot of work with these properties, but it is so fun and it is so rewarding. And so if you want to enter into the space, make sure that you contact me. You can always find me on my website at explorewithjb.com. And once again, if you are listening to this and you are interested in the vacation rental space and you've enjoyed this episode, if you're listening to this on Apple's podcast, then follow the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, then subscribe to the show. That way you can be kept up to date on the latest episodes as they come out. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you're off to a great start in 2024, and we will see you on the next episode.